If you have $1,000 sitting in your bank account right now, that money can either disappear in a few weeks or it can become the first real step toward financial stability. And the difference usually comes down to one thing: how you use it and in what order. Most people do the wrong thing first. They spend it because it finally feels like they have room to breathe, or they leave it in checking because they don't know what the smart move is. But if I had to restart from zero with only $1,000, I would use it in a very specific order. Not to get rich overnight, not to show off, not to gamble it on some random stock, to build a foundation that actually protects me. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what to do with $1,000 step by step. Quick note before we get into it: this video is for educational purposes only. I'm not a licensed financial advisor, and this is not personalized financial advice. Everyone's situation is different, so use this as a simple framework, not a rule book. Now let's get into the actual order. Here's the mistake most people make. They ask, what should I do with $1,000? But the better question is, what should I do first? Because if you invest before you have emergency cash, one surprise bill can push you right back into credit card debt. And if you save money while carrying high interest credit card debt, that debt is quietly growing faster than your savings. So the order matters. Here's the simple 3-step framework. Step 1, build a small emergency fund. Step 2, attack high interest debt. Step 3, invest whatever is left. That's it. Simple. But if you follow this order, your $1,000 starts working like a financial reset button. The first move is not investing, it's not crypto, it's not buying a course, and it's definitely not trying to turn $1,000 into $10,000 overnight. The first move is boring, but it works. Put around $300 to $500 into a small emergency fund. Not a full 6-month emergency fund yet. That comes later. Right now, you just need enough cash to stop one random expense from destroying your month. Because life always hits at the worst possible time. Your car battery dies, your phone stops charging, you get hit with a random medical bill. A tire blows out, something breaks, and if you don't have cash ready, most people swipe a credit card. Then the $250 problem becomes a $400 problem after interest, late fees, and stress. That's why this first $300 to $500 matters so much. It gives you breathing room. Put this money somewhere separate from your normal checking account. A high-yield savings account is usually a good place to start. It keeps the money accessible, but slightly harder to spend impulsively. And right now, many high-yield savings accounts pay a lot more interest than traditional banks. Don't obsess over finding the perfect one. The important thing is this: your emergency money should be safe, separate, and easy to reach when you truly need it. So your first move is simple. Take $300 to $500 from the $1,000, move it into a separate savings account, and label it emergency fund. And don't touch it unless it's a real emergency. Not food delivery, not shopping, not random impulse spending, only real emergencies. Now you have a cushion, and honestly, this is the kind of boring financial move that quietly changes people's lives. Now comes the part most people try to avoid: looking at their debt, especially high-interest credit card debt, because credit card debt grows quietly in the background. You may not feel it every day, but it's constantly pulling money away from your future. If you owe $1,000 on a credit card with a 21% interest rate, that's roughly $210 a year in interest if the balance sits there. That's $210 just for the privilege of still owing the money. And here's the important part. Paying off high-interest debt is basically like getting a guaranteed return on your money. No normal investment can reliably promise that. Not the stock market, not crypto, not some stock tip from a guy on TikTok. So if you have credit card debt, this is where most of the remaining money should go. After building your emergency fund, take the next $500 to $700 and put it toward the card with the highest interest rate first. That's called the avalanche method. It may not feel as satisfying emotionally, but mathematically, it usually saves the most money. The avalanche method focuses on the highest interest rate first. The snowball method focuses on the smallest balance first. The snowball method can help with motivation, But if your goal is saving the most money, the avalanche method usually wins. Now, if your credit card balance is bigger than $700, don't panic. You don't need to erase all the debt today. Every dollar you pay down still reduces the interest working against you. And that matters. If you don't have credit card debt, great. You skip this step and move more money into step 3. And if you have student loans, a car loan, or a mortgage, those usually need a different decision because the interest rates may be lower. For this video, we're focusing on the dangerous debt first. The simple rule is this: if the interest rate is high enough that it's beating what you could reasonably earn investing, pay it down first. Now we get to the part everyone wants to jump into first: investing. And investing is important, but it works best after you have a small financial cushion and after you've dealt with the worst debt. Because investing is not magic, it needs time. And the earlier you start, the more powerful it becomes. Here's the part most people underestimate. If someone invests just $200 a month starting at age 22 and earns an average annual return of around 8% over the long term, they could end up with close to $1 million by retirement. But if they start at age 32, same $200 a month, same return, same retirement age, they end up with around $380,000. That's a difference of about $520,000. Not because one person was smarter, not because one person picked better stocks, but because one person started 10 years earlier. That's the real power of investing. It's not about being a genius. It's about giving compound growth enough time to do its job. So whatever's left from your original $1,000, even if it's only $200, consider investing it. Where should it go? For most beginners, the cleanest starting points are usually a 401k or a Roth IRA. And if your employer offers a 401k match, that is usually the first place to look, because a company match is basically free money. If you contribute money and your employer matches part of it, you're getting an instant return before your investments even grow. And if you don't have a 401k or you want more control, a Roth IRA can be a strong option. With a Roth IRA, you contribute money after taxes. Then if you follow the rules, the money can grow tax-free and later be withdrawn tax-free in retirement. For many people in their 20s or early 30s, that can be a powerful long-term move. Now, inside those accounts, keep things simple. You do not need to become a stock-picking genius. You do not need to predict the next Tesla. You do not need to stare at charts all day. And you definitely do not need to chase whatever trend is exploding online this week. For most beginners, a low-cost index fund tracking the S&P 500 or the overall market is more than enough to start. The important things are low cost, diversification, consistency, and long-term thinking, not hype, not panic, not gambling. And even if all you can invest right now is $100, that's still meaningful, because the biggest win isn't just the money, it's the habit you're building. You're teaching yourself that every dollar has a purpose. Some money protects you, some money eliminates debt, and some money builds your future. That habit is what changes everything. So here's the full plan. You have $1,000. First, move around $300 to $500 into a separate emergency fund. That money protects you from unexpected expenses. Second, if you have high interest credit card debt, put the next $500 to $700 toward the card with the highest interest rate. That stops your money from disappearing into interest payments. And third, if anything is left, or if you don't have credit card debt, start investing it. A 401k match if your employer offers one, a Roth IRA if it makes sense for your situation, and a simple low-cost index funds if you're just getting started. This is not a get-rich-quick plan, it's a get-stable first plan, and honestly, that matters more than most people realize, because once your financial foundation is solid, every dollar you earn afterward becomes more powerful. You're not constantly getting pushed backward by random expenses, you're not losing money to credit card interest, and time finally starts working for you instead of against you. So don't just watch this video and move on, take one action today. If you don't have an emergency fund, open a separate savings account and move your first $100, $300, or whatever you can start with. If you have credit card debt, check the interest rates and attack the highest one first. If you're already debt-free, look into your 401k, Roth IRA, or a basic index fund. Momentum matters more than perfection. If this video helped, subscribe for more simple finance breakdowns. I'll also be covering topics like credit scores, Roth IRAs, beginner investing, and how index funds actually work in upcoming videos. And if you already have $1,000 saved, don't let it just sit there doing nothing. Give it a job.